All you men out there who got married because you gave in.
I'm solid ever since you got a ring, funny, right? And I never cheated, not even once or twice.
You look good, for sure.
Oh yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you marry me?
Yeah. It's in the works. Don't even trip.
Whatever. I don't need no man. All right. Well, bye.
Every woman who is trying to get married, that's what I'm saying, by a man. Every woman who is trying to get married, but the man don't want to marry her, there's a reason he doesn't want to marry her. It's called his common sense is telling him this woman isn't worth investing in.
She and me both have to be on the same page. Mm-hmm. Not to say we aren't, but I feel like I can only speak for myself that there needs to be like more work done so we could keep going. Because there's a lot of focus on our family. There's a lot of focus on careers and everything, and that is something that I feel like has not been the main focus.
It's not nothing but that. If a man marries a woman because he steps to her and say, I want to marry you, that's different. You either a fool or you real smart because you know how to pick a winner. But all you women who try to get a man to marry you because you threaten to leave him or whatever, you just marrying a fool. And trust me, brothers, long run, it's gonna end up in court with you having to battle for your existence. And your existence is your job. If you work a job, goddammit, what else you got? You work to pay bills in this country, and if you got to give somebody half of that, that's what else do you have if you got to give somebody who getting laid on their back by a stranger half your money? How do you live?
Flashback.
I have just seen over 20 years so many marriages just fall apart, get destroyed, however they end, but they end, and the women will have the upper hand.
So you just don't believe in marriage? I don't. I stand on the mountaintop and say it's a sucker move. Most men get married because they don't have the information on how to protect themselves. They give in to the emotions of a irrational. That is most marriages in America, if you ask me. I could be wrong, but I don't just see a lot of guys proposing to women. I see a lot of guys giving in to women.
Yeah, I mean, that's really true. I think the vast majority of marriages are because, women led this man to the altar, with her 2 fingers up his nostrils and just pulled him there, pulled him to the church.
This happens in most of the cases.
100%.
End of flashback.
What's stopping y'all from getting married? Oh, y'all already did one of those secret industry weddings?
No, there has not been a secret industry marriage. Just like, to be real with you, just like any people who have dealt with love, we've had our ups and downs, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's still finding the right navigation through it all. To me, marriage symbolizes like the best relationship. People be like, oh, you gotta get married. To me, I feel like having a relationship is first and foremost, and like marriage is a byproduct of that. And I feel like a lot of people get the idea of like, oh, you have to get married. To me, that's almost a fear-based way of thinking too, because then people be getting divorced. The divorce rate's so high.
A dog is gonna come be loyal to the most, feed it the most. I'm not saying women are like dogs, but I do think you can train a woman if you feed her in a way that leads to instructions. And the system is set up for a woman to understand that if you obey us, you're gonna be okay.
The system is set up for the woman to deliver you to them.
Right.
Once she has your heart and your account numbers, she's going to deliver that to the system and get her percentage.
Greetings, you polite savages, and welcome to another Tip Talk.
This is why men are straying away from marriage, Ma'am, you sit here and pretend like you haven't seen the headlines. $70,000 a month, $350 million divorce settlements. Big Sean is worth $16 million, while his woman is only worth $6. There is nothing to be gained by wifing her at this particular point. Is she willing to sign a prenuptial agreement? Is she willing to understand that she is not going to profit from this marriage if this did happen? You see, a lot of these ladies, they want to be so manipulative and gaslight, saying that if you don't marry me this or if you don't marry me that. What they want is feminism without any accountability at all for what has happened. You see, if she wants to be taken care of, then she must surrender and submit.
Would you do that for me?
Stuck with you. What?
Would you do that for me?
Hell no.
Oh,
I ain't competing for nothing, okay?
You said what?
I said I'm not competing for nothing. I don't compete, I complete. You already said it, let me run that back. I don't compete, I complete. And the difference between competing and completing is the L. You know what that L stands for? It stands for love. You know what love stands for? Living on
valued energy.
And that's word to my dad. So,
and life is just love in full effect.
Exactly.
Woo. I'm not like discounting anything, and I'm not saying that we aren't gonna get married. But what I'm saying is that it's just there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I feel like, in general.
Now, if we're honest, a good girl is not gonna give you her whole life without a commitment. It's just not gonna happen. 9 times out of 10, it won't. A good girl's probably gonna give you about 2 years. You got 2 years to be in a relationship with this girl before she starts looking around like, hey, what are we doing? Get off the pot, right? And so that's when the man is like, well, fuck. I got 2 options. I can either tell her, listen, I don't want to get married, or I don't want to get married right now. And then what's going to happen? She leaves, or I can go ahead and get married and then she'll stay. Now she'll stay for a time. That's what the men don't understand. Men are like, well, if I marry her, she'll stay forever. No. She will stay for at minimum a little bit longer if you put the ring on it, right? And she's gonna change once she gets the ring.
Want that. If she wants to go 50-50, if she wants to wear the pants in the relationship, well, ma'am, you do not get anything if you decide to break up with me, if you decide that this does not work, if you decide, just like the young Maori lady, that this is just not what you want and you need to work on me. These women tend to turn you into an abuser, turn you into a financial manipulator as soon as they are done with you. And this is why men are walking away. Big Sean is wise not to get married. He is wise not to marry this woman who already has been down this road before. If he sees something in her that does not compel him to get on one knee and pop the question, then you have to ask, is it him or is it her? Because too many men, Corey Hardwick, anyone, have been taken to the cleaners, life destroyed, abused in the press. And if a man says anything back, you call him sassy, you call him non-masculine, you call him anything you can think of to gaslight his opinion, because the shame, insults, guilt, and need to be right is never gonna leave your mental capacity, because the ethos of the modern woman is, it must only be my way and I will never, ever, ever compromise.
And the cold thing about the psychology of it is it's tied to a subconscious anxiety. Them feeling like if they don't fall in line, that they're gonna be homeless, it ain't gonna work out. I don't know how, it's just tied to an insecurity, and it's really nothing you could do about it. If you date a woman who gravitates that way, you just gotta let her be who she is and move on.
I don't think that men chase the financials of a woman in the system the way that women chase men's financials in the system.
The true subconscious anxiety and insecurities they feel is that the money bag is gonna be running out. Time is a-wasting and ticking and talking away, meaning the shot clock buzzer is gonna be going off and time will have expired. Where that final game-winning shot to get that man down the aisle. Getting that man to sign away his assets, his money, his resources, his properties. Just so he can get the same kind of lady day in and day out. The same hustle wallet, the pocket purse. So that no other man can have it. But in Big Sean's case, protecting his financial wealth, his family fortune, for the offspring, his kids in the future. This is long-term strategic thinking on Big Sean's part. He's got the leverage in his hands, the pieces in his back pocket, and he can be making the moves that he wants. That's in his best favor and interests. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is how you play the game of life. Maintaining generational wealth, practice the discipline of not allowing himself, his mind, his judgment be clouded by a woman and her emotions and her feelings, persuading him with that viper slip between her legs. And that's how you play the game of power dynamics.
See, the thing about it is there are so many women that think if you prove to a man how loyal you could be, that as a reward, he'll give you a ring. But all he'll do is take advantage. As long as you're willing to give, a taker is always willing to take. You've given him years. You've given him your body. You've given him children. And that man is still like, I'm not sure about you. He can't tell you that he's wasting your time because then you'll leave. At some point, you have to hear what the man is not saying. I don't care how good it's going. I don't want to be married. Even if he says he wants to, he'll hint around that it's coming. It's not coming. That's how he gets more years out of you. As long as you let a man waste your time, that's exactly what he's going to do.
This one, she knows what you like. She's nice to you. Your parents like her. She gets along more or less with your friends. She'll suck you off every now and then.
Yeah.
You like to have that at your house.
Hell yeah.
Well, you look at it. Like, hell yeah. But you don't want to lose that.
Have you ever been in a relationship with a woman who didn't cutthroat you? I mean, I'm serious.
End, yeah, it's always cutthroat at the end.
At the end? I'm saying, like, I don't know many women that won't cutthroat you. Do something where you like, well, I'll be goddamn. Did this really do that?
Something about men who feel comfortable having a child with you, but have too many stipulations regarding marrying you feels manipulative. I think some of them subconsciously hope you'll become less desirable with the child, so you'll feel more inclined to stay. I don't know. Just seems sus.
I mean, we can already expect it from the women, but the men out here in the comment section, saying that Big Sean should be getting married because he has a kid with a lady. And of course, yes, I'll throw my hands up in the air and I'll give you that. A man should be getting married if he has a child with a baby. But hear me out here, fellas. Some of y'all might know right now I'm half Vietnamese. Growing up in the Vietnamese tradition and watching Vietnamese marriages, attending Vietnamese marriage ceremonies, I understand there are some tax advantages. But if you got the resources and the money like Big Sean, why can't there just be a traditional marriage ceremony where the state and the government and the court systems is not involved? Now, I'm sure there's some type of legal justification or impediment that prevents marriage ceremonies. But that's the easiest solution by keeping the state away from interfering with your business and having the court systems rip you in half.
They also do it to gain forever access to the woman without having to give more. And sadly, women don't see how it's a trap for a man to want to mate with you, but not marry you. No woman is special for having a man's child because men drop their seeds everywhere.
Have you ever noticed that the comments from the peanut gallery are always from women who do not have what it takes to maintain and retain a high-value man themselves? All of these women, they want the big dog. They want the big swinger. They want the man who makes 7 figures, 8 figures. These ladies don't even know what it takes to make $1 million, but will demand you make that a year. But they always have something to say about somebody else's relationship. That's why, just like my grandfather told me, you got problems in your house, keep it in your house. What Big Sean should have told Charlamagne in this situation is, look, we're not talking about that right now. We're not entertaining any outside talk. We are in our house and everything is fine in our house. But see, when you leave this crack in your armor, you leave it open for these hyenas, these hecklers, these cluckety clucks that sit there and just talk a little. Cause see, they want to pierce the armor a little. They want to put a crack in that ceiling over you and your lady's head. And they don't even understand your situation, but they'll call you a manipulator, won't you? They'll call you a gaslighter. They'll call you an evil abuser. They'll call you anything they can to turn the spotlight away from their miserable lives. Because trust me, if this lady or any other lady had a life, they're not getting paid for these comments. They would have shut up and minded their own business.
That's all I got for you, you polite savages. Like and subscribe. Hit us up on all social media networks.
We found true happiness